Hi Gemini, welcome to your August 2017 reading. Sorry it's late. I know the lunar eclipse has passed, but I'm here now. You know, better late than never. Probably said a Gemini at some point in time. So I'm just going to get right into the reading, and if the astrology becomes relevant, which it always does, I'm going to talk about it, but I kind of want to get into the reading and sort of incorporate the two a little bit more, and also try and okay, Ace of Pentacles. Good start. New beginnings. Knight of Wands. New creative beginning. Something creative. Something having to do with creativity. Something that you're creating that has the ability to bring in financial resources. And it's today I'm shooting this on August 12th. I don't know when it's going to get uploaded, but I'm pretty sure Mercury is going retrograde today. Or it's now we have the Knight of Pentacles. So we have this Knight of Pentacles, this Knight of Wands versus this Knight of Pentacles. So this dual kind of energy that's going on. And you know, we're in August, right? And August is Leo and Virgo. It's fire and earth. It's like the heat. It's like the hot earth. It's like the combination of the fire and the earth element, right? You think of gardening, think of, you know, camping, right? All those things that you do in the summertime that really incorporate like digging your nails into the dirt, getting dirty, building and also planning for the harvest that's going to be coming, right? When we get into September and October. So yes, August is very fiery and it's fun and games, but it's also when we move into Virgo, then it becomes, okay, we've had our fun, we've had our summer fun, we've had our summer flings, our summer fun. Now it's time to get down to business and think about the harvest and what we're actually going to bring to fruition in this coming season. How are we now going to survive for the winter season once it gets here? And fall is the preparation, right? Virgo being the entry into that preparation process, that meticulous process. So let's see what else is coming up. The Tower. That makes sense because we're having, let me see. I believe, I don't know it off the top of my head. So, Aquarius for you is going to be, so Gemini, Cancer, sorry I'm doing this, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Leo in your third house, Aquarius in your ninth. I believe, yeah. I'll double check that. So, yeah, we're having Emperor, King of Cups, Six of Pentacles. Yeah, so there's Geminis in your first house, Cancer's in your second, Leo's in your third. All right, so let's just stop there and get into it. Nine of Swords on the bottom. And like I said, I think this also kind of makes sense with this Tower card because you're having some activity. One, Mercury's going retrograde. Sorry, you guys. Mercury's once again. Well, not only really just kind of confusing Geminis, but confusing all air signs and Virgos. And we have this, and Mercury's also opposed Neptune. And I believe that is happening in your, one second, let me, sorry, I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the correct, yeah, we're having Mercury in your fourth house opposing Neptune in your 10th house. and that's going to be also, you know, Mercury's also going to be going retrograde in your fourth house. So some changes happening regarding your foundations, right? Regarding the places where you find security. Some, you know, having some introspection on that. And opposing Neptune in your 10th house, right? You know, when we have this Mercury Neptune opposition, we're dealing with, you know, our delusion versus our truth. We're faced with the ways in which we've been communicating that might have been misleading, that might have been not the most forthright. And, you know, as a Gemini, as being the social butterfly that, you know, Geminis, you commit and promise so many things to so many people, and being in that third house and being able to really communicate very well and attracting people with your exuberant communication, and, you know, being very quick-witted it's very attractive, and it reels people in. But then, like, what happens when you're not able to follow through on that? What happens when you're not able to back up your talk with the walk, right? And it's not because you lack the ability. It's just because there's, you know, there needs to be a more realistic way in which you're communicating, right? And Neptune opposing Mercury is asking you to look at that, especially with regard to your relationship to your public image versus your private image. Are the two aligning? Are you in alignment with are you in alignment with the reality that you live in your private life? Or, you know, are you taking, and are you obscuring your public image, right? Or vice versa? Like, how are you being genuine and true to and living out the realness of your private image, your private thoughts, your private, you know, your inner landscape? And are you actually, like, nudging that a little bit in your public image? Like, and how so? How much? Because when Neptune is present, we're dealing with, like, you're really taking things out of context. We're really creating a fantasy and a grandiose sort of idea of what things are, when in our private lives we're very different, right? Like, we're not. It's like the wizard behind the curtain. There's, like, you know, it's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. Like, it's just a man, right? It's not this godlike, you know, oversized, you know, figure. It's a man. It's a tiny man behind a curtain. So how are you kind of playing out that dynamic in your private versus your public life, right? Like, are you being the wizard behind the curtain, like, just, you know, the puppeteer? Where are you being genuine in that? And like I said before, we're having the lunar eclipse, which already happened on August 7th. Sorry again. Which already happened in, you know, in Aquarius, being, you know, your sister sign, you know, one of your fellow air signs, your big sister sign. And so, or the little sister, depends on how you look at it, right? Like, you know, but we're having the full moon in Aquarius for the lunar eclipse happening in your 9th house, right? 9th house being, and the full moon representing endings, culmination, things coming to a close, cycles coming to an end. And then that 9th house representing your philosophies, your religious ideas, your beliefs, sort of the things that you stand for, philosophically, travel. So maybe there is an end of a period of travel, right? You know, I see this Knight of Wands. To me, it's totally a Sag traveler card, right? It's totally a card of that spirit and that enthusiasm of the traveler, of somebody who is trying to expand their horizons and expand their life experiences. A very Sagittarius kind of card, right? Maybe y'all have been traveling with a Sagittarius, right? Or some of you are traveling and you've got, you know, and you've been really at emotional peace here, right? Traveling. But now that's coming to an end, right? And as as the traveling is coming to an end, you're now being asked to sort of put down some roots, right? You're now being asked to go, like, these two are going in these two opposing directions, right? And it's, you know, this dynamic of like, I need to now settle down here, right? And so on August 21st, we're going to be having the solar eclipse which is like also going to be a new moon in Leo, new beginnings, vibrant new beginnings, new things, new opportunities being brought to us, and that's going to be happening in your third house. And your third house being that's your house, that's your home, that's your zodiacal, your astrological home. Gemini is the third house. So third house representing communication, writing, journalism, siblings, short-term travel, communicating ideas, the collection of knowledge, right? And so we're going to be having a solar eclipse occurring in that house. So new beginnings in that house, new things happening, sudden changes, new cycles beginning. So that's what's going to be happening. And, Sagittarius is your opposing sign, right? So, and since we're going to be having these eclipses occurring in both third and ninth house issues, right? Gemini and Sagittarius issues, I urge you to really look at your relationship to the Sagittarian within you, right? Because whatever sign we are, it's also important for us to observe and look at what are the opposing characteristics or qualities of my opposing sign, and how do I allow those qualities? Am I afraid of those qualities, right? Like as an Aquarius, am I afraid of Leo energy? Or am I kind of apprehensive towards it, or do I invite it? Am I okay with being a leader? Do I have issues with leadership, or do I feel like if I'm a leader in a group, am I just kind of trying to overpower? Like, what's my relationship to power in terms of me as an Aquarius who's all about the group dynamic, right? Who's allowing herself to be okay with being in leadership positions, because as an Aquarius, I have that Leo in me regardless. I have that Leo power, that leadership energy, that Leo leader in me, that lion. It's in me regardless, right? I'm just one side of the same coin, right? And I have that other side is my shadow side that I need to, allow to come out and play a little bit more often. And so as a Gemini, as being this great collector of information, as being this traveler, this fast mover, this very agile sort of archetype who's able to move from one thing to another, how can you kind of borrow from Sagittarius and actually borrow the steadfast, more the energy of Sag has a little bit more longevity in terms of sticking with one idea for a longer period of time? How can you commit to one idea? And how can you see the wisdom and the spiritual value, or the value in the philosophy behind this one idea, and then translate that message to people, as opposed to just transferring various bits of information, right? So, looking at that, and then like long-term travel versus short-term travel, maybe you had an idea that you wanted to travel sort of for a longer term, but it's easier, and it would be, maybe the broader vision with Aquarius being in your ninth house was the vision of like, I want to have this long journey that I need to go on, and it's going to be, Aquarius can be very visionary, but can lose sight of the minute details, right? And doesn't really have the patience for the minutia. But a sign like Gemini, when we get into, when we have the third house energy and we have Leo energy there, what would be more lighthearted and easier for me to engage in? What would I actually enjoy to do more of, right? Like Leo season is all about joy, and like how can I bring joy into my life? Maybe a shorter term travel, experience is more realistic for you right now. If you're thinking about traveling long-term versus short-term, maybe short-term might breed better enjoyment for you, or you would have, it would be easier for you to actually initiate that, since we're having Leo, the new moon in Leo in your third house, right? So that's what's going on with the astrology. And I know that I said that I'd bring it up as it kind of came up. It just sort of came up. But in any case, let's get into the reading. And we'll pull more cards as we go along. The deck didn't want to keep pulling cards, so I just stopped. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, so something new, something substantial, an opportunity to create business, some revenue is actually coming through. There is an opportunity, right? There's something that y'all can take hold of, and it has the ability to offer you a new path, a new experience in life. So I think that's great, right? And now we have this Knight of Wands, and like I said before, this Knight of Wands in relationship, I feel like there's two sort of relationships happening with this Knight of Wands. This Knight of Wands definitely relates to, the opportunity that's coming forth is definitely a creative spark. It's a creative endeavor, right? It's a creative pursuit that you have. But I see it more so requiring that you stay put for a little bit. Like this Ace of Pentacles is not really a transient card. It's a sturdy offer that requires commitment, right? And so, but the work itself will be exciting. The work itself will be creative. It will be passionate. It will allow you to still sort of have this Gemini flair of, being able to go from one thing to the next and to kind of keep excited and to keep stimulated mentally and creatively. But like I said before, this opportunity might also require that you, that as the month goes along and as we go into Virgo, that like we definitely stick with this Virgo energy, right? And there could be, an earth sign, a Virgo, a Capricorn, or a Taurus that you are going to be working with, that you're going to be engaging in this work with. But there's something about this experience, there's something about the work that is going to be done between the two of you, and I see this definitely as you, right? As like, somebody, who's just been traveling, or who's just been, since we have that ending with the full moon in the 9th house in Aquarius, right? And 9th house representing journeys abroad and traveling, like long-term traveling, right? The ending of this sort of 9th house energy, right? But that energy still kind of carrying on and carrying through and carrying over into the next cycle. So I definitely see this energy, this Knight of Wands energy as you all, right? How fitting too. This Knight of Pentacles also representing always, right? And this always comes up for me whenever I read for a Gemini or I do a Gemini general reading, that there's always this dual energy. There's always some kind of dualness that I'm looking at when I'm seeing the reading. And maybe I'm just seeing it because I want to see it, but I really am like, wow, there's always this dual kind of energy, right? So on the one hand, we have this Knight of Wands energy that is very free and, is non-committal and is very fast pace and is not patient and waits for nobody, which is, Gemini, although y'all want fire signs, you're air signs, you're very quick and fast. I always describe Gemini as being very quick and sudden and fast, the sudden and fast spring breeze, right? That sudden and fast, breeze that comes on and then all of a sudden it stops and it settles and then it comes back on again, right? And this Knight of Pentacles energy, right, it's like the complete opposite of this. Is very sturdy. It's very reliable and dependable. I can't really depend on this Knight of Wands. Like when I pull this card for a relationship reading, or when somebody's inquiring about what somebody else is doing, I'm like, yeah, they're in their own world. They're on their own mission. Do not rely on them. They've got things that they're doing. They can be passionate and romantic, but they're not going to really be fire is not something that you really want to play with or touch for too long, right? Whereas this Knight of Pentacles has the ability to offer something a little bit more substantial and stable, right? And is very patient, is very slow moving, and is very methodical. This Knight of Wands also doesn't really think too much before he acts. He just kind of acts. He probably doesn't even know where the fuck he's going. Whereas this guy knows exactly where he's going. So there is this sort of dualness that might be occurring, right? This desire, you know, we have this opportunity, right? We have this opportunity here. This Ace of Pentacles is here and it's facing you, you know? And yes, we want to approach it with this zeal and this zest and this, you know, this passion and excitement for life. But in order for us to really grasp this Ace of Pentacles, in order for us to actually take it by the hands like this Knight of Pentacles has, you know, it requires us to slow down. It requires for us to actually dig some roots in, and to maybe, you know, and to stay put for a little bit. Give me 1 second. My computer is about to die. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So yeah, as I was saying before, this dual energy, right, of wanting to approach this new opportunity, right, and to kind of rush after it, but then also recognizing that, well, we might have to slow down a bit, or roots might need to be, we might need to invest in establishing some roots wherever this opportunity, because like I said before, this opportunity is it's not a traveling one. It's not, it might allow you to do some, you know, short-term traveling, but you need to slow down and actually stay put in order to grasp this pentacle. And, you know, once again, this can also represent an earth sign in your life, a Virgo, Capricorn, or a Taurus, and their energy, right, really being in opposition and really being in sort of conflict, right, with that fiery air, right, that fleeting energy that fire and air can both embody, right? And there's something uncomfortable, there's something jarring about the experience, right, of this, about how you are experiencing this person. There's something unpleasant, and there's something that sort of shakes up your foundation, right? And possibly also this representing a fear, right? That if I actually step into this energy and I engage in this energy, that it's going to shake the foundation of who I think I am. And it's going to shake the foundation of what I've been doing. And, you know, and it's going to shake the routine, even if my routine has been that I've been transient and not really committing to much and doing, you know, if I were to actually not be transient and actually settle down and be somewhere, or commit to a relationship, or commit to this Knight of Pentacles, or, you know, actually take the offer, right, that's being proposed here, that it might actually dissolve the foundation of who I thought I was as this Gemini, right? And with Neptune, again, being in your 10th house, yes. Neptune, Virgo being in your 4th. So Virgo's in your 4th, we've got Pisces in your 10th house, right? And Neptune is in Pisces right now, right? So and Neptune dealing with the illusions, the delusions, the fantasies that we've sort of created for ourselves, and being in your 10th house, right, with that Pisces energy, what's the image that I've created for myself that will be dissolved, right? What will be dissolved if I actually allow that Virgo energy, right? Like if I actually allow that Mercury Virgo energy in my 4th house to sort of like if I actually were to build some of my 4th house, if I were to actually take my 4th house activity, right, and that I have Virgo there, right, and Virgo asks us when we're in our 4th house, when Virgo is anywhere, Virgo asks you to really look at what are the responsibilities that you have in that area? What are you willing to sacrifice in that area? Are you willing, you know, suffering is part of, you know, building success and building stability in that area. So being with Virgo being in your 4th house right now, y'all, like where is Virgo asking you to really look at how am I responsible, like, to my home and to the security and to my own security? Like, where am I willing to sacrifice and build a home? Where am I willing to sacrifice this sort of fleeting energy and actually to do the work? Where am I willing to take on the work, right? In my 4th house, right? And if I were to do that, if I were to actually take some responsibility and take the initiative and actually engage in some self-sacrificing, sort of acts, right, in my 4th house and build roots, or actually, and 4th house is also about how am I emotionally responsible to others in my life. Like, 4th house has to do with how am I nurturing and how am I emotionally accountable and dependable to people in my life, right? And so it's like, if I were to actually, if there's a relationship, right, or if there's a person, or if there is a situation, a family member that it's you're actually being called upon in that, with that Virgo in 4th house, to actually engage in some self-sacrificing, to put some roots down, or to go home, or, to commit to being emotionally available. If you actually did that, how would that then dissolve, right, and destroy that 10th house public image that you've created for yourself of being this knight, right? How would, and with Mercury going retrograde in your 4th house in Virgo, how are you going to be are we reflecting on that? Like, are you going to be, in reflective mode on, like, where am I responsible? Where am I responsible to my emotional security and the emotional security of others? Where am I sacrificing either too much or too little in the arena of my home life? How does that, and like how with Mercury opposing Neptune and those two, and that opposition happening in your 4th and 10th house, where am I beginning to communicate and come to realize and like, where is Mercury giving me the knowledge, right? The awareness that I've actually been deceiving myself when it comes to how I've created this image in my in my 10th house, right? What's this public image, right, that I've created? And it's asking you to really dissolve and break down your relationship to your ideas of success, and to your ideas of power, right? We're in Leo, and 10th house is also Capricorn, right? So these are two signs that really deal with power. And Leo is about, again, solar eclipse, new moon in Leo in your 3rd house, right? So are there new projects beginning in terms of like writing? Are you writing a book, and you're actually going to get that started underway? Are there new ventures, or are there new, are you going on a short journey with your siblings? Like, are you going to go travel with siblings, right, for a short period of time, a little summer vacation with your siblings? How are you, are there new ideas or new thoughts that you're starting off with in this Knight of Wands, right? In conjunction with this Ace of Pentacles. Like, what are the new opportunities that are coming forth to you that you can use your creativity, that you can use your wit and your mind and your words, your verbal abilities and your agility to really, come forth and create and generate some income for you. But again, really look at what that Mercury-Neptune relationship, if I were to actually really commit to what Virgo's asking me to do in my 4th house, how is that then going to dissolve this image that I've created for myself, right? It's like when you deal with, the typical story of the guy who always is going to be this Knight of Wands, right? And then finally that Knight of Wands meets, this person that he can actually possibly commit to and be with. But then if you were to actually take that step and commit, and I'm not just talking about men, I'm talking about, any person, right? Then you actually meet somebody that you can actually commit to. And then how would that commitment shatter, right? This image, right? How would that commitment shatter this idea of yourself that you've created, that you don't have to commit to anybody, you don't need anybody, and fuck a relationship, or I'm never gonna be tied down, right? But then you meet that person and it's just kind of like, whoa, and they're not even somebody that I would even think in a million years that would be my match, right? They're totally different from me. But maybe that's what you need, right? Maybe that's what you need. Maybe your public image needs to be humbled a little bit, right? By that Virgo 4th house energy coming through. And Virgo is very much about humility, and is very much not about this, doing whatever the hell I want because I feel like it, right? But Virgo is like, how am I responsible to the people? How am I of service to the people in my life, materially and emotionally, right? Like how do I sacrifice myself emotionally, in order to be stronger, or to be, a sturdy, stable, reliable figure in the lives of other people? So now we have this Emperor card, and and before I was telling Aquarius this too, that, and I'm an Aquarius, so I can understand it, but, this image of, being the detached, I could care less kind of air sign image, which I think Gemini and Aquarius definitely get down with, and then Libra suffers the bad rap, right? Like, suffers that air sign rap of like, because Libra's like, I'm not, like, I actually love to be in harmony with other people, and I'm not, I'm actually okay with generating attachments, and I'm ruled by Venus, and I'm about harmony and love and beauty and possessions and things that are beautiful, that I can look at, including my partner, right? So, but I think Gemini and Aquarius definitely have this air of like, the more detached, right? The more fleeting I can look, the harder it is for you to pin me down, the better, right? The better I look, the better that helps my image, right? When I can be this Knight of Wands, when I can be this energy that is, unstable, unreliable, sort of unwilling to change course and unwilling to slow down, it can be kind of attractive. And we know that. Geminis and Aquarians, let's not act like we don't know that that's attractive. We know that it's attractive. But it creates a lot of this. And it creates a lot of this. And it's sad because we really want this. Like, it's, and so it's like, are you, is this image, and again with Virgo, right, being there, and Virgo being not about like, oh, how can I, yes, being perfectionist, right, and perfectionism in and of itself can be kind of self-obsessive, right, but still with Virgo, there is that air of, how am I of service to others, what am I sacrificing in order to create, what am I sacrificing in order to create for others? Like, how am I creating room and space for others in my 4th house? And like, being in that energy is actually a really, really beautiful thing. And now we have this Emperor here, right? We have this Emperor, and I feel like these two need to be sort of discussed together. We have this Emperor along with this King of Cups. Emperor is the King of Kings. Emperor is also Aries energy, right? And it's the boss man, self-asserting, very, very self-preservation, and I think I mentioned this in like another video, but I'm personally trying to like pull out my Aries energy, and just really assert myself and really, become more comfortable with doing that, right? So that was, I digress. Anyway, that had nothing to do with your reading. So the Emperor is the King of Kings and has the capacity to lead, right? And has the capacity to sorta, and has, this Emperor has a lot of kingdoms and a lot of, I hate talking in that language because it reminds me of colonialism, which I think is really fucked up, but just for the sake of, sticking to the actual meaning of these cards, we're going to go there, right? So this Emperor is like, the Emperor of, so many kingdoms, and he rules over so many kings. And but it wasn't easy to get here. It wasn't easy to get here. There's a lot of work. And, you know, when we're in this energy, right, in this energy of like being super stern and being, I've had supervisors in the past that have said, it's easier for me to kind of engage in this energy than to engage in this King of Cups, which is more emotionally present and more emotionally available, right? That sometimes it's easier to be here because when I'm here, I get taken advantage of, and things get thrown off balance, right? That sometimes, being a leader, right? Because again, I feel like we're also talking a lot about career stuff. And when we're stepping out into that 10th house career world, we have to really bring out the energies within us that, replicate or inspire leadership, right? So we have this Emperor and we have this King of Cups. And the King of Cups, while also being a leader, right? And while also being somebody who is in charge and that people have to sort of go to and ask and go to and kind of, I can't think of the word right now. Answer to, being the person that people have to answer to. He's also the King of Cups. Cups being the suit of emotions, the suit of feelings, the suit of relationships, harmony, our emotional relationship to ourselves, right? So this King of Cups has mastered his emotions. This King of Cups has mastered, right, his ability to still be a leader, but to still have some emotional connection, right? But I want to definitely pull some clarifiers because why is the Emperor here? We're going to do for each card. Why is the Emperor here? Can you clarify the Emperor for me? And can you clarify the King of Cups for me? So now we've got some more Pentacles. One more Wand. Can you clarify the King of Cups for me? Clarify the King of Cups for me. Okay, yeah, I see that. A message from a Earth sign. Okay. So we have this King of Pentacles and this Page of Wands. So another Earth sign, and I definitely feel that this Earth sign is these two energies are related, right? And now we're dealing with an Earth sign that is progressing, is growing. This King of Pentacles, a Virgo, Capricorn, or a Taurus, is a person who has a lot of power, who has worked very hard, right, for what they have, and has, I would say even progressed from this knight to this king. And whatever this wand is, whatever this opportunity is that is being sort of chased after, whatever new spark of passion or creative interest, right? This Page of Wands, this King of Pentacles is bringing, right, this message to you, is bringing this opportunity to you, is bringing this, this ability, right, to you. But, with this Emperor card, there can be fear, right? There can be this uneasiness, right? Like this Knight of Wands you know, while being a knight, right, of the court, it still has a lot of freedom to do whatever he kind of wants to do, you know. But I feel like, you know, this emperor, you know, yields a lot of power, yields, I don't know, has a lot of power, and to be under such extraordinary power, and to be under such extraordinary, the extraordinary command, the command of the emperor is extraordinary, right? It surpasses that of a king, right? And so there's tremendous power in conjunction with this new opportunity that's being offered, but it's power that you're going to have to succumb to. It's power that you're going to have to humble yourself to, right? With Virgo being in that 4th house, opposing your 10th house, it's power that you're going to, it's a public figure. It's a public figure that has a lot of power, a boss, and you're within your career field. You know, maybe, you know, you're trying to write a new book and you have to sort of go to this publishing, you have to go to this publisher, right? Or this publishing company. And there's a lot of power there. There's a lot of, you know, you feel as though this opportunity that you have, this dream of yours that you have, is actually kind of, you know, held in the grips, and is like, you know, you have to do what these people in power are telling you to do, right? And there are softer people, right, among you. There's this King of Cups who also has a lot of power, right, who trumps this Knight of Wands, right? All of these figures sort of trump this Knight of Wands. And what you thought was sort of like a small opportunity, what you kind of took for granted as being, you know, oh, because, you know, Geminis, y'all can get a little cocky sometimes, and y'all can get a little, you know, gung-ho. And you know, being that sign, right? Like Aries, I am, Gemini, I have, right? Cancer, I feel. Gemini, I think. Being that first spark of like, oh wow, I have this mind and I have this intellect and it's so amazing, right? And being very quick-witted and agile and fast and know-it-alls, right? Because you all know a lot. You are like these sponges of information. But sometimes that can create this mentality of being bigger, of grandiosity. There can be this grandiose sort of sense of self that can occur, especially when you're an air sign, right? And you know, you're an air sign that is that's very much they're running the sawmill outside, I'm sorry. Especially when you're an air sign, right? And we live in a society, and air sign represents intellect, right? And we live in a society that really values intellect and intellectual ability, right? So when you're an air sign and you have this intellectual ability, right? Or you have a propensity towards it, that then can sort of create this sort of idea of self that is based around the importance of my mind and the importance of my ideas and the importance of how I can implement my ideas and how creative or original they are, when there's really no such thing as a creative idea anymore. Sorry, had to say it. Things are just being recycled in new and interesting ways. But we're not really, like, you're not as innovative and as, you know, amazing as we think we are. Sorry. Like, I'm just going to say it and be real. So, you know, this Knight of Wands, or this Knight of Pentacles could have been, you know, part of, you know, could have been, right, the initial person that gave you this offering, right? And it's like, oh yeah, he's on my level. He's just another knight. He's, you know, just another person that has this, you know, career business offer, work offer to give me. And then it's kind of like this tower hits and it's like, oh, I'm like, it's a humbling. I feel like this is a very humbling kind of energy. And we come to realize that, like, this Knight of Pentacles, like, not only, right, kind of has the command and the presence of an emperor, but is a king, and is a king, and is a lot higher up the ranks than we originally thought. And they have this opportunity to offer you. But don't act like, they have the opportunity to offer you as well, and they want to work with you, and they want to see a new creative beginning with you, but there is this sort of needing to humble oneself in the presence of authority, right? And that is also what Capricorn, 10th house, Saturn energy is about, and we still have Saturn in Sagittarius, which is your opposing sign. And Saturn and Capricorn, 10th house issues are all about humbling oneself in the presence of those who have done more than you. Humbling yourself in the presence of those who have more power than you because they've worked for it, because they've actually put in the time and the energy and the effort, right? And this Page of Wands is a messenger. He has, like I said before, this Knight of Wands may not even know where the fuck he's going. This Page of Wands, I feel like actually has a better idea of what he's doing with this wand. He's a messenger with a very distinct and purposeful receiver, right, of this message in mind. Sorry, my vocabulary is not really working too well today. But we have this Knight of Cups, a Cancer, a Pisces, or a Scorpio. And I definitely feel that this is like another person, another figure in the midst of all of this. That again, has more experience than you do in the field that you're trying to go into. And because we have Leo, that new moon in Leo on the 21st, in your 3rd house, it very well could be writing a book, journalism, communication, anything that has to do with communicating to a mass audience, anything that has to do with writing or, verbal communication. I definitely feel that this person also has a lot of experience in that field, and they know what they're doing very, very, very well. But be mindful, because the Devil card came out to clarify. Can I have another? Because to me, the Devil doesn't have to be like an all bad thing. Sometimes the Devil can represent our destiny and the things that we actually are chained, or we're supposed to be doing, right, in this lifetime, and that we can try and run from them as much as possible, but that they're always going to resurface, just in different ways and in harsher ways, right, if Saturn has anything to do with it. So can I get another clarification for the King of Cups? Okay, yeah, I'd be mindful of this King of Cups energy, right? I think, I just heard wolf in sheep's clothing. There could be a water sign, or there could be, and I really don't like to deduce it down to water sign or something. It could be, it could just be a person that is really wearing the mask of, because for me, the King of Cups is also the mask that I wear, the mask that I wear into the world in order for me to kind of cover up and navigate my emotional self, right? Like the King of Cups is also about like the what's the mask that I wear? Like what do I put on? Like what face do I put on today so that I can navigate the world without it becoming an emotional experience, right? Because yes, this is the King of Cups, but he's also a king. He's a masculine energy. He's ruled by air. He's air and water. So, we also have this Five of Swords here. And this Five of Swords represents cheating, trickery, deceit, pretending to be somebody or something that we're not in the name of trying to succeed, right, and get these swords. The the backhanded games that we play to gain power, right? I feel like, you know, if anything, if there's a person that you're around that has more of this earth energy that, you know, feels more stable and doesn't feel so sort of, you know, I feel this King of Cups like pretends to be really kind of like they give a shit, but they really don't, right? Like this King of Cups kind of like wears the mask of like, oh yeah, like I really, you know, don't worry, I got your back. I really care about you. Be careful of that because they may not have your back, you know? King of Cups representing, you know, an energy that on its face can appear to be soft and sensitive and kind of watery. But really is not. This is the devil. Read the devil in the details. You know, read the devil. You know, the devil is in the details. The devil is in the details of the mask that this person is wearing. And yeah, that this energy, you know, I pulled a clarifier because I wanted to know, like, is this devil card about destiny? Is it about, you know, and I had a feeling that it wasn't something good. And yeah, that was definitely clarified with this Five of Swords. That this energy is definitely an energy that is looking to kind of, this energy is definitely looking to kind of take you down, kind of trick you. They really like you. This person really likes you and really, you know, but it's a jealous. It's kind of a hating kind of like, you know, they like you. They like what you've got going on, but they don't, but there's also this kind of jealousy about it, right? So in the process of, you know, sort of collaborating with these people, all of these people, right, that are around you, all of these different people that you see around you. Some of them have power. Some of them, you know, you underestimated, right? But they're not tripping about it. They're like, it's cool. Like, we can still implement your idea. Like, I'm still willing to carry out this wand that you had, even though in the beginning you try to act like you were kind of better than this idea or this proposal that I brought to you. Like, we can still get down. I'm totally down. I can still carry your message. You know, I wield a lot of power. I'm a strong leader, right? And then there's also people who like see what you have going on, who, you know, want to present themselves as being emotionally mature, who want to present themselves as being, you know, open-minded and caring and emotionally available, but they're jealous, right? And they want this kind of dynamic with you, right? Where it's like, they want you here and they see themselves and they want to see themselves here, right? They want to create a situation where they've taken your resources from you to the point where it's like, now we have to, you know, so be mindful, right, of whoever, you know, and if you feel like this, whoever this person is begins to kind of embody this energy, right, be mindful, right, and stay up, right, because as long as you're the one that has the idea, right, as long as you're the one that has this ability to carry this idea out, you can take this idea to anybody, right? And let's clarify the Six of Pentacles. Can I clarify the Six of Pentacles, please? Can I clarify the Six of Pentacles? Six of Pentacles. Yeah, like I said before, you know, it's your idea. You can take it to whoever you want. You can take it to whoever you want to take it to, right? But, you know, make sure that you maintain this upright posture. Do not end up here. Right? Because I definitely feel that one, you know, especially this person here, this water sign, this watery energy, this energy that presents itself as being really, you know, kind of, and you'll know when this shit is fake, right? Like, you'll know, you know, air signs, we're very good at discerning what is and isn't real, right? Like, we're very, like, you will know. So we're very good at discerning people's truths, right? And if you're and if this person is trying to sort of deceive you and take what you have, right? Don't allow that. Don't allow that. Maintain your idea. This is yours to maintain, right? And keep yourself here. Keep yourself here. Right? Don't allow them to switch it up on you and to grab hold of what it is that you have. And can I get an outcome card for Gemini for August 2017? Can I get an outcome card? And that Mercury retrograde, you know, it has the ability to bring some confusion, right? Especially as air signs, we get a little bit vulnerable and we're like, what's going on? We get a little bit vulnerable. And so we, you know, we're a little bit more susceptible, right? We're not on our game so much, especially Gemini, Virgo. Y'all aren't on your game so much because your ruling planet is once again going into the depths of the universe and into the depths of darkness and trying to, you know, bring out and force out like some of our shadow aspects of self, right? But for the outcome card, I got the Queen of Swords. Y'all got it. Y'all know what you're doing. Y'all, you know, and I see the Page of Swords as really being a Gemini card. And with this Queen of Swords, I see y'all stepping it up. I see y'all stepping it up definitely from this energy to this energy, right? And this Queen of Swords, yes, she is an air sign. She is air. She is intellect. But being a queen, she also incorporates, you know, femininity. She incorporates emotional connectedness. She incorporates cups energy. She incorporates nurturing. There's a certain softness that she incorporates in her dealing with words, right? So while she can be very honest, while she can be very real, she also, you know, holds her hand out in the sense of like, and now come and join me in my truth. Come and join me in what it is that I have to divulge for you. So she's very honest, but she's honest in a very diplomatic and charismatic kind of way, right? And so I see you all standing up for yourselves, right? And I see you all, you know, actually taking some responsibility and, you know, showing up, right? Showing up and meeting with these people that have this power, right? And you're actually showing up as a queen. And you're like, all right, like I'm on your level. We can do this. We can handle this. To me, kings and queens are like on the same level. Queens maybe a little bit, you know, because that's important to incorporate. We have to learn, right? You have to learn this amalgamation of, you know, being able to be a leader and to be, you know, and to have force and to have command, but to do so in a way to where you're not stepping on people's toes and to where you're not, you know, it's like that balancing. We're in Leo, that balancing of that Leo and Aquarius energy. That, yes, that Leo, I'm a leader, but as an Aquarius, I also respect the masses and I respect, you know, humanity. And I have, you know, the utmost, you know, desire to treasure and really protect humanity while still being in this position of leadership, while still being in this position of power. So how can you combine those two energies this month, Gemini, in the face of being offered something really awesome, a really great work opportunity? You're going to meet some intimidating characters are going to pop up. Some that want to bring you down, some that are haters and that just kind of want to steal your ideas from you. But don't stay up. Don't allow them. They want to shift the balance. But as long as you maintain this idea in your hand, right? As long as you keep this wand in your hand, you maintain the balance, right? And that that your idea finds its ability to really naturally find its way out into the world, right? At the hands of these really great, strong leaders, but still, you know, caring and benevolent. So that's your reading, Gemini, for August 2017. And if you would like a personal reading with me, you can email me at tattoosandtarot@gmail.com, or you can go to tattoosandtarot.com, which is my website, and click on the reading section. And I will see you all in September, and have a good month. Bye, Gemini.